Evening, ma'am. Am I audible,
Yes,
Rajeshwari, ma'am?
yes, yes, you are. So,
All
how
right.
are you, Anshuman?
Yeah, I'm doing great so far. Thank you for asking. How about you
Most
doing,
well.
ma'am?
Yeah, I am a retired professor and I'm passionate about teaching. So, I'm here to teach and train.
All right. So, like, you look very experienced. Like, so since whom you started teaching? It's been
No,
your.
yeah, no, I have been,
Okay.
I've been in academics for 37 years.
My God, nice to see you there.
Mm, yeah, most welcome. Yeah. So I heard that you want some random topics to be discussed today. So where do
Correct.
we begin? So where do we begin?
Yeah, like I do not have any specific topic for today. I thought someday we should talk, as the conversation flows. So I thought let's go with that. Because if we do not have some script in our minds, so sometimes spontaneously we get something valuable, right? So I thought, yeah.
Yeah. So what about fears of public speaking?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, good one, good one. Yes.
Yeah. So as we are all in the same profession and we need to speak in public, sometimes we need to talk in various channels. So, what are the general fears of public speaking? And do you find public speaking intimidating?
All right. This is really very relatable topic for me because you don't believe, Rajashree ma'am, like once I started this journey of English spoken, the first day I went into the college, I took the podium and mic, and that day I thought I'm gonna deliver my, what I had thought that I would be delivering the best. But that day I made my worst speech. Even I could not even introduce me in the best manner. So that day I thought even though doesn't matter how much I know, what do expectation I was having, something is there. I see this thing in all the persons that they are having something in them, and I also find this in me. So that was the first thing. Once I believe, oh, all right, there is something I need to work on that, and then I started working, and but really now I once somebody say, hey, there is an audience you'll have to go and address, I take it very positively. Okay, now this is an opportunity for me. Earlier it was thread. So yeah,
Yes,
now
great.
everything's become easy
Ye-
for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. According to me, nobody's born a speaker, but then you cultivate the confidence and develop the skill of public speaking,
True. Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
some fears and anxiety will always be there because
Mm-hmm.
there are unfamiliar situations. We don't know the entire audience. So, in spite of the best preparation, some level of anxiety and fear will always be there. But
Correct.
according to me, that little bit of fear and anxiety is important so that you
Mm.
don't get complacent that, oh, yes, I'm an expert. I've taught for so many years. So why should I bother about the audience? Even the
Right.
best of speakers can get into a situation where they are, worried or they are stumbling for something or fumbling for some words or mumbling rather. And I think some level of fear and anxiety is very, very important. Now, it's a common phenomena that people do have fears of public speaking. So, what, according to you, how did you overcome that fear? Let us start from you, then we can go to general tips of how to overcome fears of public speaking. Let's take a hands on case.
Sure, sure, ma'am. I mean, talking about personally, how did I overcome this? It was really, because I'm a slow learner, it take me years on, experimenting the things and figuring out what really works for me. So the first thing, what I was thinking that I was good at, but really I was not, is that the practice I was doing for public speaking, I was doing either in my mind or I was just going with the script. The actual audience, I was not imitating and feeling me that I'm really addressing the person, right? So I made a bit change in terms of my rehearsal skills. And second, as you mentioned, the anxiety. I feel, and I heard this quote somewhere that if somebody says that I do not have any anxiety to address people, so there is only two situations. Either he or she is telling a lie, or second, he or she is telling a lie. So, I mean, nobody can confess that I do not have any anxiety. So, if there is an anxiety, even you also really said that it is very important, like a salt, right? If there is no
Yes,
salt, so it won't be that much good, right?
yes.
Second, if there is an anxiety, we should know how to manage it. And I really, once I got to know this concept that how you can manage your anxiety, it really changed my all aspect of public speaking. Because earlier it was, as I mentioned, it was threat for me. I was thinking a lot of things, what people gonna to think about me, how I'm gonna to deliver, what is my expectation, whether I'm gonna to meet my presentation well or not. These were things what I was having in my mind. But
So basically, we have fears of being judged and evaluated.
correct. Yep. Yep.
That's the first fear which comes. See, what are people going to think about my speech? Am I going to finish the speech properly? Am I going to convey what I want to convey to the people? So those fears of people judging you and evaluating you are the
Hmm.
most important fears.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. This
So
was the first time once I overcome it, and I really, that's how I become, yeah, good at this.
excellent. Yes. So when we have these fears of not being able to deliver a good presentation, how do we overcome these fears? Let us just go one by one. One is, it's very important to always practice and be well rehearsed in
Hmm.
any topic you are going to speak on. Never
Correct.
be casual in your approach,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Second, we have to always have a very engaging dialogue and conversation.
Correct.
For that, you have to research and be well prepared in your topic. It cannot be random.
Right. Right. Right.
You
Right.
have to be, because you are there with some authority and you're talking on a subject. You have to deliver that to the audience. So you have to be able to engage the audience.
Hmm.
How are you
Audience
going to,
engagement.
yes, how are you going to bring about this audience engagement? Start with a very interesting story, an anecdote, some
Hmm.
idioms, because people do get impressed when you speak very well.
Yep.
Yeah, so start and have the first 1 minute very impactful.
Correct. Yeah, this is very good method. Even I had seen in many more speeches as well.
Yes. So once you're able to connect with the audience, have made an impression and impacted the audience, then the rest of it is just a smooth flow. Rest of it is a smooth flow, because as I told you, you can never go unprepared for any speech. You should always go prepared and practiced.
Right.
Right? Now,
Hmm.
anxiety is about what? Not completing what you had wanted to say.
Hmm.
You're just rushing through your
Script and all.
script.
Hmm.
That's some common fear, because you have a limited time to speak. There are other speakers who are waiting to speak, so you need to manage your time well. That's very important, and that comes with practice. Faltering in your speech, why do people falter in their speech? Because either they jumble with their sentence framing, or their
Hmm.
vocabulary is not good enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Or they are always by hearting some part of their script, and once they blank out, then they
They
don't know
don't know.
how to proceed.
Right. Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So if these are the common fears which people have in public speaking, that we can overcome them very, very easily. If there is a will, there is a way.
Great.
Always have positive affirmations for yourself, that I will and I can. Never have negative thoughts. Oh, I think I'm going to do a horrible job of this presentation today. Never go
Hmm.
with that kind of fear. Be very positive about, because you are an authority, you are researched well, that's your subject domain, you're passionate about the topic, and that's why you're going to speak, right? Nobody
Correct.
calls anyone to speak.
Hmm. Hmm.
There's some level of depth in your uh, speeches earlier, and that's why they've invited you to speak. So
Hmm.
have that confidence that you are the authority and you will not falter, because you know your subject very well. So always have positive affirmations. Visualize yourself in front of the audience.
Yeah, that is very important.
That's very important. I'm sure you would have done that in some course of your speeches, but visualizing the way you enter the auditorium, the way you keep your notes or whatever, your file on the podium.
Your
Not
body language, how do you reflect
your
non-verbally?
your
Yeah,
your gestures, your posture,
postures. Hmm.
all that is very important. And art of public speaking is also modulating your voice modulation,
Shines. Yeah.
tone, intonation.
Hmm.
Never be too loud, never be speak in very low volumes, because people
Yep.
will find it difficult to understand you.
Correct.
Pause at the right places,
Hmm.
right? And also ensure that you modulate your voice from time to time. If you're speaking for 5 minutes, you can't go on in the same monotonous way.
Right.
It becomes boring and your audience may fall asleep,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so you can pick up from where I have stopped and you can add to what I'm saying.
Yeah, like I do have couple of points in between. Like once you mentioned few of the really good point, it was being intersected, and I was having the same concept regarding. However, I do have few things while people they go, even they are being prepared, they know what to speak, they had been rehearsed, but their body sometimes, because they had not been habitualized to give the momentum to the body, their body either they are severing, or because that is their maybe they are in their initial phase, their body do not have their positive symptom, sometimes they are severing, hand is wavering. So even though they are being prepared from the script part, well rehearsed, but sometimes they get anxiety because of their body language. So ma'am, I just wanted to know, is there is any specific thing they need to do in order to become their body language confident? They need to do something extra, or what exactly they need to, or it comes with the time and all?
Definitely, it comes with practice, but at the same time, body language, your posture, the way you stand can be corrected in no amount of time. In a very minimum time frame, you can correct your posture. Posture is
Hmm.
the way you stand,
Yep.
and you can't be shaking about your entire period of speech and, continuing with the speech. At some time, you have to stabilize yourself, posture yourself, engage with the audience. Whom are you looking at? If you are only continuously shaking,
Yep.
whom are you looking at? So,
Right.
so you have to connect with the audience. Eye contact with the audience is the most important, right?
Got it.
So you engage with the audience directly, and of course, your content has to be perfect. There are no two things about that. At the same time, your uh, eye contact, body language, gestures. See, many people go on shaking their hands, fingers, and
Hmm.
that's very distracting for a larger audience. You can't have so many gestures. Have a few gestures. Nobody is expecting you to stand like a soldier and talk, but at the same time, you should minimize your gestures.
Right.
Then your facial expressions speak a lot. Half our communication is about our facial expressions.
Expressions.
You have to be energetic, you have to be enthusiastic in what you're trying to convey, right? If I'm very
Hmm.
dull myself and I just go on with just a flat tone, nobody's going to be interested in what I'm saying, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
your energy, enthusiasm is going a long way to determine whether the speech is going to be successful or not.
Yes, correct. Even some of the time I also felt so. Once I'm, listening somebody who is take the podium and mic, they started speaking and with a low volume, low speech, no enthusiasm. People also gonna to feel slippery because it is more about energy transfer. Energy conservation law is being created. If you're not being energy can't be created. It's just being transformed from your energy to somebody else. So it's very important to have
Yes.
a great enthusiasm about topic and all. Yeah,
Yes. So
true.
be enthusiastic, be energetic, connect with the audience. All these are very, very important aspects of good public speaking. And of course, if you just keep telling your audience or your students that you just practice and practice and practice, they may draw a blank. Give them pointed instruction how they can practice. Practice with small groups, practice in front of the family, practice in front of their children, practice with their close friends, colleagues, who will
Hmm.
give them positive feedback from time to time. Do not shy away from talking within your house or home setup or small family circle or your friend circle, because there again you have this fear of being judged.
Correct.
So you don't want your close friends to know, oh, I make these mistakes. But have no fear about that. Make sure that you are confident speaking to your own familiar setup. Then definitely in an unfamiliar setup, you will do wonders.
Right, right. Now I can, this is pretty much relatable to me because the thing you are mentioning somewhere, I had been gone through with the journey and getting like, oh my God, this is really that worked for me. Because won't believe, ma'am, how I did this thing for me. I started talking to my friends, even they were laughing startingly, like, hey, what do you do me? But I said, no, like, let me just try it. And you should also try. If you're not comfortable, let me know. I'm not gonna to talk you, but let me try. So that's how I took my first stand, and now the thing's getting easier. Now people motivates from me. They come to and have a, take my time to talk with me. So I feel privileged, and this is quite relatable in that aspect as well. Yeah.
Yes. So very nicely we have put together with your inputs and some of mine that the fears of public speaking are always there, but it can be overcome. We don't need to get worried about being judged or evaluated.
Hmm.
Be very thorough in the topic you're going to talk about, because it's your domain and you have to be an expert in that. You have to
Correct.
research well, practice well. Never be complacent. Oh, I've done it before, so I don't need to even look at my material. That
Hmm.
should not be the case. Always be well prepared in whatever you're doing, right?
Right. And
Then
one more thing, ma'am, I wanted to add here is that there are few methods we can make our script or presentation into, but I feel this time people love stories. If you gonna to follow a structure, even that is being very structured, you are giving instruction clear, point by point, you are going specifically. But if you could convert in a bit historical manner, because people gonna to remind the story more rather than putting the straight statement. So I feel,
all,
right.
always start with a story,
Yeah.
your own experiences.
Hmm.
That's always a very good starting point. Anecdotes, stories, some funny incident which happened. All that can be, narrated right in the beginning, so that the audience is comfortable with you and you also get familiar with the audience.
Right. A story is very important. And one more thing, ma'am, like if we give some presentation or a speech, there is motive behind that. Like we do have something to convey, right? That message should be clear. Sometimes what I feel is that if somebody is giving the presentation or speech, at the end, even it was for more than half an hour, I ask the person, hey, what do you get from my speech? He or she is not able to tell what
Say,
exactly what they get. So the message part is not being clear. How to overcome this and what we should do as a speaker in order to make our message clear.
be concise, be very precise, don't go into long winding stories.
Yep.
Be very specific in what you want to convey, because when you uh, converse or talk, there may be different purposes. Either you're teaching, or you're
Hmm.
persuading, or you're conveying a message. So each of these things have to be done in a different way. You
Hmm.
persuade people, your tone, your emphasis will be different. When you're teaching, you're trying to make them understand, right?
Right.
When you're conveying a message, you have to just convey it in the way it should be conveyed.
Got it. Again, it is more subjective in which aspect and
Yes.
where
So
we are delivering.
what are we
Okay.
doing? Are we just presenting? Are we conveying something? Are we teaching them something? If I was to teach in a college, I was teaching in a college. If I have to finish some number of chapters or topics, I know that I have to do it in a certain way. I can't spin stories every day.
Correct.
Yes, because finally the children are going for an exam, and they will
Hmm.
be tested.
Right.
Right? So the purpose of our conversation has to be very clear.
Clear.
So yes, Anshuman, it was a lovely, engaging session we had today. So do you want to add anything more?
Likewise, I also got a great time to connect with you and really personally got so many things from learned by you. I feel this video gonna to help a lot more speaker who wanted to take this public speaking to them, and they gonna to help from that. Thank you for your time.
I'm sure you'll succeed in that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.